I'm Eldon Long. I'm so glad you visited my website. It shows me you're truly interested in the issues that are affecting Lowell's future. We recently held an event at Wardenell Park where I shared a few things I believe are important to the residents of Lowell in the direction of our city. So let's get to it.
Very good. Ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Jackson Long and the Pledge of Allegiance. Here you go, sir. Now here, hold your microphone up to your mouth, remember? You hold it. You hold it. And hold it right up there.
Pledge allegiance to the flag, United States of America, to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Eldon Long for mayor. Come on up, Mayor.
We can give too much attention to sometimes, say for example, the commerce side of things, and then we neglect the things that really bring us together as a community. If we're going to be a community-minded city, and we like the idea of the small town atmosphere that Lowell holds, then we have got to be a people of communication. We got to be able to communicate with one another, get to know one another and relationships and those things that really bind the community together in the future. And so I believe that commerce in the city of Lowell is very, very important. I believe that we have made a lot of good inroads in that department in Lowell. I believe that we need to continue to do that. I realize our tax revenue comes from a lot of these businesses that are in Lowell. But one thing I do feel, I feel like we have somewhat neglected some of the things that keep our city safe. And one of the things that I'm going to be campaigning on, and maybe you've already heard about it, is a safe city. I think Lowell needs to be the safest city in Northwest Arkansas. Now, what do you mean by that? Well, I've watched several mayors come and go, and mayors do come and go, but guess what? People stay. And if some things aren't put into place, well, sometimes they get put back on the back burner. But one thing I don't want to put on the back burner is I think it's time that we have our own ambulance system. A lot of people say, well, how do you intend to pay for that? Well, there would be an initial cost, and there are some grants out there that could help us with that. But it's time that we quit depending upon Springdale and Rogers to provide that. And we need to, and there's a way that eventually that we could actually charge and almost neutralize the expenses connected with that. Another thing that I'm interested in doing is getting a storm warning system in Lowell. Do you know we live in Tornado Alley, and there are almost 8,000 people here, and if there were a storm at midnight tomorrow night and a tornado headed this way, you know, we're not protected. And now the little guy that had on my shoulders a while ago, you know, I'm concerned about him. I'm concerned about each of these children. I'm concerned that we don't have a system like that in place. And I know we've got a tower up here by the fire station. It sticks way up there in there. We could put one right there and cover probably 50% of this city. Later we could go out to the east and to the west and put another one. And we would actually be able to know when a storm was going to hit this area. Beyond that, I'd like to see designated storm areas that we could go and report to. We've never had a committee or anybody to put that in effect, and I think it's time that we do that. We begin to look for those buildings that actually have the structure that would make good storm shelter. So today on a federal level, many people feel they are no longer more than a number, that big government doesn't care about them personally. Many speak of feeling disconnected and have begun to shrink back from their responsibilities as citizens. Voter apathy is at an all-time high. I'm not able to change this on a federal level, but on a local level, I can encourage you and remind you that your opinion matters, your voice matters, and yes, your vote matters. I hope you will research the platforms of all candidates and go to the polls this November 2nd. truly let your voice be heard. And you can read about those later. Another thing that is very important to me is a senior center. There's about $300,000 that have already, according to Susan Moore, who has been helping with that effort in Lowell, looks like is going to happen. And another grant for about $65,000 to $75,000 if that senior center is built to storm standards. In other words, that structure itself could also double up for that. And it's the but anyway, you know, one of the things on that 2030 plan is eventually tying in Bella Vista, Rogers with Springdale and Fayetteville on a bicycle path, something similar to what we have right here. You know, sometimes it's paved depending on what the budget allows. Sometimes it takes creek bottoms, whatever. Well, our last usage map is finally began to designate some of those areas for Lowell. But as Lowell, we've made very little progress in that. And I would like to bring that onto the table again for us to begin to decide what we're going to do in the future with that and actually make some progress like our neighboring cities have. Do you think we need that? I'd like to see that, because what happens when you do that, you begin to provide places for the youngsters to ride their bicycles, for the elderly to take walks without the threat of somebody running them over in the street. So it's actually a safety aspect as well, but that's going to affect us. I understand that Dixieland's about to be open. We applaud the current administration for that taking place, and we're looking forward to the businesses that are going to develop along that area. I think we need to really look at each of those projects very seriously, and because that is a face with Lowell at that point. 264, we've got sewer out on the other side of 264 now, and that's in the overlay district, and that area is going to develop in the future. So I am very concerned as a business owner, and also having my family embedded here, and what takes place on both sides of that. You know, there's some things that we can change, and there's some things we can't. And then there's wisdom to know the difference. I believe you and I together can change Lowell. I believe that's within our power. And so I'm looking forward to having your support. I'm looking more forward to having your vote. And if you believe us together can take the city of Lowell in the future, keeping it a hometown spirit, then I hope that you will get on my bus, okay?
Let's make the deal, let's make the plan. Who's your pleasure, who's your favor, who's your mayor, and who's your friend?
Yard signs. Many of you have been asking about yard signs. If you would like to support Eldon, we'd love to sign you up for that as well. We're going to do that on an organized basis, because how many of you like it when you have political yard signs in your yard like 6 months after the election? Doesn't that look good? We want to get some type of record on where they are, who's got them, so we will be able to come and pick them up as soon as the election is over.
No muscle bound man could take me away from my guy. No handsome face could ever take the place of my guy. May not be.
As you can see, we had a lot of fun at Wardnell Park. I hope this video has been very useful to you in your decision-making process. I want to leave you with this thought. If you like what you've heard, I would appreciate your support and your vote. You can help me by going to the volunteer link and signing up to help with my campaign. If you have questions concerning the city, you can also go to the contact link, and I will see to it that your questions are answered. Remember, community-minded fiscal leadership. Together we can keep Lowell moving forward. Thank you for visiting the website, and thank you for your vote and your support.